a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, being your consumer advocate here in the Tampa Bay market. That's what we do every day, coming to bat for you. And also sprinkling in some of these national stories, national news, like Sound of Freedom. The movie was Sound of Freedom. We're going to talk about that on today's show as well. We got Gunnar Branecki as well, Guardian Protection, Home Security and Automation, our security company on the show. We got Derek Coble as well. He's going to be making his debut. He's a property insurance adjuster. So we're going to talk about that. Public adjuster, you know, what is that capacity? What does he do? And how can it help you as a consumer? Because you... it's going to help you when it comes to navigating these different insurance policies. And we all know that the insurance landscape in Florida right now is very challenged and troubled. Jennie Restrepo as well. We're going to continue our true crime and fraud conversation with her. She works at Insured Title Company and does a great job there and serves on some other boards in the community as well. The Greater Tampa Realtors as well. But we're going to talk about commercial buildings, a lot of empty, vacant commercial buildings, and you know how that might play out and some of the repurposing opportunities there as well. And before we do, we'll let you know about a nonprofit that we're supporting right now. It's a clothing drive that we're putting on. I believe it's our 8th year in a row doing this. My wife Lindsay and I own the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, and we've got the great clothing swap of 2023, and it's going to directly benefit women and children in our local area. So please consider donating clothing, shoes, any accessories that you no longer wear. We're looking to collect 2,000 plus items for this event to help donate and raise funds for those who desperately need it. We're also accepting donations to help cover some of the hard costs of the event or raising additional funds. 100% of the profit will be donated. We've also paired up with the Tarpon Springs Yacht Club, and Life is a Donation for this amazing event. Our goal is to raise $15,000 and donate over 30,000 bags to women and children in our area. Great clothing swap of 2023, and we're here in the Tampa Bay community serving our community, helping not only consumers but also nonprofits as well. Just want to touch on this Sound of Freedom. As of August 4th, the latest figures show Sound of Freedom has made $155 million at the box office following its July 4th release. It's an impressive sum, especially given that it's only been released in North America cinemas. So that's interesting. I didn't realize it was not outside of the Americas so far. But Sound of Freedom, Angel Studios, America's #1 movie. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. Great storyline. Jim Caviezel, Tim Ballard. A couple of Patriots, a couple of great Americans as well. Sound of Freedom movie. Go check it out if you haven't seen it as well. All right, coming up, Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency here. Before we do, just a couple of hot listings from the Platinum MVP team. We got a new commercial listing on Marine Parkway. It's 5146 Marine Parkway. This one's in Newport Richey. Beautiful business opportunity. Great opportunity here in Newport Richey. It's just about 1,000 feet from US 19, so you get that proximity to major thoroughfare, lots of traffic driving by, exceptional storefront space, a large window, natural lighting coming in, and open and versatile floor plan as well. So no matter what business you have, great parking opportunity as well. Marine Parkway, one of our hot listings. And also beach property here, 861 Mandalay Avenue. Beautiful home here, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. You got a beautiful pergola, charming pergola, 900 square foot screened in patio. And this has also jetted bathtubs, elegant kitchen, sleek quartz countertops, gorgeous stainless steel appliances. And the best part, you're about 200 steps from the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see all of our listings, PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town.
All right. #1 song on Billboard right now, Jason Aldean. Mm-hmm. Did you know the top 3 songs on Billboard right now are country songs? Or at least the last I checked it.
I love country music.
So you had #1, Jason Aldean. Mm-hmm. Number 2, we'll try that in small town. Number 2 was Morgan Wallen, Last Night. And then number 3 is Luke Combs, that remake he did of Fast Car. So, yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff. Pretty cool.
It is.
First time it's happened. Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title, what's happening in your world?
Well, one day I'm going to come and say not fraud or crime, but that day is not today. So what's new with us? Just your fraud busting team, that's what we're up to. And along with the fraud that we're busting that comes through our title company, I make sure to let the community know about other things that are going on in the area and in the state. And so please follow us on Facebook at Insured Title Agency, because that's where I post most of these stories. So here's a new one for you, Brandon.
Okay.
2 women were misrepresenting themselves as rightful, I think, agents or sellers of properties. And they were listing these on Zillow, which you can list on Zillow even if you're not a licensee, because they obviously have for sale by owner.
Yep.
And it's a little bit tricky because Zillow is an advertising website to get down to the nitty gritty of who is the correct listing agent.
Right.
And is this listed by a real estate agent and not just a person who's advertising on the site? So that's a little bit of a tricky thing when you're dealing with Zillow. And so they're listing things on Zillow, making it seem like they're real estate agents, and then having people send a down payment, which we would normally consider an escrow deposit.
Yeah.
Like through Venmo.
Oh, my gosh.
And then ghosting.
Yeah. Ridiculous. And they'll do it in certified funds, too. So unfortunately, I hate to say it, but if you're dumb enough to send certified funds to somebody, to a post office box in a lot of cases, right? So that's untrackable, post office box. So you have, that scenario number one. And then they'll also do that for rents. They'll take an actual listing and then pose it as a rental. And then you've seen that play out before.
Yes, rental fraud is huge right now. So, if you're looking, do not look on Craigslist for a rental property. Just don't. I know that the rental market out there is rough and it's very difficult to find what you're looking for, but do not go to Craigslist or any of these sort of gray area websites, because this is where the fraudsters are living and operating.
Yeah.
And they're peeling pictures off of Zillow, and they're peeling the descriptions. And here are the main things to be aware of. Is number 1, we do not conduct real estate transactions in Venmo.
Right.
So that's not a thing. We also don't ask you to bring in a stack of cash.
Yeah.
In fact, at Insured Title Agency, we don't accept cash. So if you come to the office with your escrow deposit in $100 bills, we're going to send you to your bank or a place to convert that into a money order, a cashier's check. We do not accept cash. So if you're dealing with someone who's representing him or herself and accepting cash or demanding cash, Venmo, gift cards, I don't know if I've seen that one so much in real estate, but all of these things are a no. Hard stop, no. We will not ask you for those types of things. And also, it's not a real estate transaction in the state of Florida unless you have a written contract with consideration. So there needs to be a document in writing, but unfortunately, those can be forged as well. People are signing who are not the rightful owners and are forging signatures, changing names. And so while you can do this on your own, I really, in this landscape, don't advise it. There is no downside to calling the show, getting connected with Brandon or one of his amazing agents on the Coastal Elite team, and allowing a professional licensee to guide you through this process, because it's a lot of money at stake. And so it's heartbreaking to all of us when we hear these horror stories that someone has fallen victim to wire fraud or this Venmo fraud or title fraud, and now they're out tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And at that point, unfortunately, the only thing that we can do is refer you to law enforcement.
Yeah, and it's I had a deal a couple months back. It was a few months back that they had this scenario where they just had all this cash and wanted to use the cash. Did I call you off air about that? I can't remember if I did or not.
I don't know, but we probably told you no.
No,
we
yeah,
were like,
and they
stay
were like
far, far away.
Well, it was like a red flag because they were insistent on it and these types of things. But anyways, yeah, every now and then you come across these kind of out of the box scenarios, and you got to consult your attorneys, talk to the title companies. You guys have attorneys on staff, right? And you've got people that you utilize as resources.
Correct. So I think you've probably heard me say many times, stay in your lane.
Yep.
And as a title company, we do have authority within the title industry, but we're not attorneys. So if something goes outside of those guidelines, we do have attorneys that we keep on retainer that we can consult with or bring in if necessary. And we will absolutely do that. can you be creative in many ways? Like, can you take money out of your retirement to invest in real estate? You absolutely can. Can you legally avoid a tax obligation to that? Yes, you can. But there's a nuance to that. So prior to me coming on, there was a financial advisor. Don't try to figure this out for yourself, because you can get yourself in trouble with not knowing exactly how to do things the right way.
Yep.
And then the repercussions of that are astronomical.
Yeah, it really can be. It's an interesting time, challenging time. And I want to just jump to a quick story that I caught over the weekend. It was about this. Did you hear about this story, this chaos in New York? I'm going to just play a quick clip here.
So let's get into this incident in New York City with this Twitch streamer, the 21-year-old Kai Cenat. Tell us about what happened there.
Sure. So Cenat, who's very popular on social media with about 15 million followers, he advertised a PlayStation 5 giveaway in Union Square at 4 p.m. on Friday. By 3 o'clock, the park was packed with young people. And in total, there ended up being thousands of mostly young teenagers gathered, apparently trying to take home these freebies. Things became unruly fast. Teens were climbing on top of cars that were stuck in traffic. They were banging on vehicles, throwing rocks and bottles and other materials, and stores were vandalized and looted. Footage also shows fights breaking out, and in one infamous moment, a young male is dancing on top of a damaged vehicle while a crowd of young people cheer him on. And
it was pretty crazy. I don't know if you saw that. I saw a bunch of the videos on social, and it was, it just reminds me of, a lot of these, unfortunately, the youth, a lot of times it's the youth in these scenarios. And if they funnel that into something positive, and unfortunately in these big cities, there's so many people that can be in one area at one time, and then all of a sudden now you've got this group think, this kind of this herd mentality taking over. So they're throwing rocks, throwing bottles, breaking windows. Some of the businesses in the area, I'm sure, were vandalized. I didn't catch all the details, but and then they said something to the effect that these young gangs or these young hoodlums, and then Eric Adams, the mayor, comes out and says, "Oh, well, don't call them that. You can't equate them to these, these Bugsy, whatever the criminals were back, the mobsters." He said something along those lines. Did you catch that story at all?
I saw the videos, and I mean, think of that as another example of some rules are in place because they're meant to protect the public.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they exist. And I did see that that influencer is potentially facing charges because he incited a mob. And, you're offering something that's very expensive. You're calling people to come to a public area. You've not cleared that with city leadership. You haven't pulled a permit. They don't have the proper... Had this been more organized, perhaps it would have been successful. But, these young people and these influencers, I think that they think they're above the rules.
Sure.
And if you truly care about your followers or you're trying to influence them in a positive way, why would you want to put them in a dangerous situation?
Yeah.
And in any area, calling hundreds or thousands of people to one place at one time for a disorganized giveaway is not going to work. It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
And so, if you are in that game, on this radio station, obviously we are influencing people with our voices and our knowledge, but doing it in a safe way.
A positive way.
A positive way. And if you want to have a rally or if you want to have a protest, if you want to do any of those things, there is a way to do that the right way so that the people that organize because they're following you can enjoy your message and be safe at the same time.
What's interesting too, Jenny, is Dennis Prager, one of the greatest radio show host in all of history. He'll go down as one of the greatest. He has a Bible series, a book series that he wrote called The Rational Bible, and he goes in there and he asked a lot of the kids as he goes around the different schools touring the country. He says, "What do you want to be? What do you want to be most?" Or something to the effect of that. And most kids, they say they want to be famous. What do you want to be? Famous. He says, famous for what? Like eating the most hamburgers? And they go, yeah, that's fine. I just want to be famous. So I think that's the mentality of the youth now. It's just they want to be famous for whatever, get their follower count up, and then, and this is a kind of a perfect example. This Kai Cenat or Ty Cenat with 15 million followers doing something kind of a bonehead play like that.
Well, my daughter happens to be in the studio today because school starts Thursday. And so I think, I'm not looking to her school or any other person. I am her mother, and I have the opportunity to influence her. And as a parent, I think if we asked her what she wants to be, she's going to say a paleontologist, veterinarian still.
Okay.
But her goals are here in the real world.
Exactly.
And so being famous just to be famous, there's lots of people that are famous for doing really yucky things.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's the power of a parent's role in your child's life.
Exactly.
Shape them, guide them. Don't look to your schools, even your churches or other people in the community to do your job for you. Do your job.
Well, that's a good point. We're going to talk about this work from home trend, the working from home, the commercial buildings. We're going to get into that in the next segment. But I just saw a stat too. It was in New York. 20 kindergarten attendees, because we're going back into school this week. It seems to be happening everywhere, right? Kindergarten attendees in New York is down something like 26 or 28%. Because that's a lot of people are saying, hey, especially in New York, California, these different leftist type states, they're pulling their kids from going to school. They're saying, hey, we're going to work from home. There's a lot of organizations now that support work from home, the child schooling at home, homeschooling. They're going to utilize some of the different organizations now, and mothers get together, family, fathers even get together, and homeschooling a lot more than in the past. So 26%, I thought that was a pretty interesting number. We got to take a quick break here. More with Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency, coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about this vacant commercial buildings, the opportunity to repurpose, also this work from home and Zoom type class that we're seeing emerge even more from the pandemic. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency. And we're going to jump into this commercial building topic here. Before we do, a couple of hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 701 Sugar Palm Street is a 55-plus community that we have in Pinellas County. We've got a nice home here available for sale, very affordable opportunity. 701 Sugar Palm Street, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet. Resort-style living in a 55-plus community. You got 9-hole golf course, 3 tennis courts, 2 hot tubs, 3 pools, built-in china cabinets as well. Recently remodeled kitchen, purified water. Property has built-in dresser, ensuite, and great opportunity there. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. 701 Sugar Palm Street in Largo, Florida. 2817 Gulf City Road. Attention builders, developers. We have a 23-acre parcel of land with access to the Gulf of Mexico. Imagine if you were to take that property and build townhomes, condos, maybe even single-family homes, or potentially design and build a RV resort, RV Palm resort there. 23 acres on the Little Manatee River, bay access. Bring your boats and build your boat dock as well, right on the waterfront. 2817 Gulf City Road, Ruskin, Hillsborough County. You can see all of our real estate listings. PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Jennie, so we're going to jump into this topic here. Here's a story, too, that talks about hurdles remain for work-from-home parents. Remote work can be a lifesaver for parents, but that doesn't mean it's a cure-all. Work-from-home parents tend to take on more than their fair share of household chores and childcare, especially if they're women. This is written off of LinkedIn. In fact, in North America, work-from-home moms risk becoming a, quote, Band-Aid imperfectly slapped on America's crumbling care infrastructure. Employers must be a part of the solution by resisting the temptation to penalize remote employees, while changes in public policy are necessary to promote affordable child care and predictable work schedules. Your thoughts on that?
Well, as a mother who did a fair amount of work from home during COVID, I can say that it is very challenging, especially if you have a school-aged child that you're trying to homeschool and work from home. That's honestly filling up your plate with a lot. And it's unfortunately a situation where I think, we don't have guaranteed maternity leave in this country. We don't have affordable childcare in this country. I have some friends that their daughter's going into their VPK year. They were going to be paying more for their daycare every week than they were paying when she was a baby.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And who can afford that? So I was like, get the VPK voucher. All Florida families, it's not income-based. Apply for the VPK voucher. Make sure your facility accepts it. You can still go all day. It just really offsets the cost. But, families are trying to make it work as best as they can. And our lawmakers absolutely need to catch up with family rights, women's rights, parents' rights, because if we want to encourage people to get married and have children, we got to help them out a little bit with options. I actually transitioned out of an office job to real estate when I had Josie, my daughter, because I wanted a flexible schedule. I did not want to have to go to the office 9 to 5 every day and send her to daycare at 3 months old. But that happened to be an option for my family. My husband is a real estate agent and an appraiser, so we basically started just working together. But I was totally the mom at the zoo, pushing the stroller on the phone, closing deals.
Oh yeah.
You got to make that hustle work. But I wasn't trying to get her through 3rd grade while doing that, for sure.
We've got, here's the vacancy right here. So the national office vacancy rate reached 17.1%, rising 180 basis points over a year ago. Same time, rent growth remained patchy across the country, rising rates falling even in some areas of the country, and then goes into Manhattan and different areas. But we only have a minute left. But you had some thoughts on that vacancy and the issues with buildings.
So the Florida legislature passed the Live Local Act this year, and there was a lot of great things included in there, and affordable housing was certainly at the top of the list, as well as cutting out the red tape. So oftentimes zoning makes buildings be a certain kind of way, and to try to change it involved a lot of red tape. Well, the Live Local Act has now created a pathway for owners of, say, commercial space, office space, industrial space that's vacant to convert it to affordable living space and get very serious tax breaks and potential grants and programs for that conversion, so that we're offsetting 2 issues, is filling the empty space while offering affordable housing as our housing prices continue to soar.
Yeah,
so
that's
check
what
that
we need.
out. Google Live Local Act here in the state of Florida. The state, as well as the Florida Housing Authority, provide a lot of great information.
Yep, that's good stuff. Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency. Look her up online as well. They're always putting out good content. Insured Title Agency. Coming up, Derek Coble as well. We're going to talk property insurance here. Property public adjuster on the Consumer Quarterback Show coming up here in just a moment. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at CQB Show on Instagram, at BrandonRhymes1. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes REQB as well. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.